Hi, welcome to our Glowforge Rainbow program. Today we're going to be making rainbows out of yarn and a piece of wood that was laser cut on our Glowforge that's down in the makerspace. So first of all, let me kind of explain a little bit about the Glowforge. In your packet, you have a rainbow that looks like this. This was cut downstairs in our makerspace on our Glowforge machine. It is a laser cutter that can cut through wood. It can etch into wood, etch acrylics, does so many different things, cuts leathers. It's a really fun tool downstairs, and there's a lot of possibilities with it on things that you can make. So when you take your item out of the package, you're going to kind of smell a little bit of that campfire smell because this wood was laser cut, which burned into the wood to separate the pieces. With this, you are going to need to peel back the protective paper that is on your rainbow project. So that's going to be your first step, is to remove the paper backing off of both sides. And then it will get rid of that kind of burnt wood look that it has, and it will look something like this. So it kind of cleans up the look a little bit for you, and it just looks kind of nice and clean. So Glowforge down in the makerspace, check it out sometime. It's really awesome, and you can do so many great things with that. So that's why our program is called Glowforge Rainbows, since we use that Glowforge to cut these out. So you do have a rainbow that looks like this. Also in your package, you have a large plastic yarn needle that you'll get to keep, and you don't have to use this when creating your project, but I did think it was a little helpful as things got tighter through the loops when we added the different layers of color onto your rainbow. You have 4 different colors of blue yarn, blues and grays, in your packet, and then you have a fluffy white that can be the clouds if you choose to add that to the bottom of your project. You can put the colors in any order, so that's kind of up to you on what you think looks best. You have 3 yards or 9 feet of yarn for each color, so any of the colors will work in any order. You have enough to get through with that project. You might also want to have a pair of scissors handy to kind of trim up those end pieces. So it's kind of a fun project. It's going to take you 45 minutes to an hour to complete, roughly. Threading in and out. It's kind of a portable project, so if you're traveling anywhere, you could also do this in the car. It's kind of a take-along project. You don't need a lot of space or even a hard surface to complete it. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera around so you can see what I'm doing on the tabletop. I'll show you how to get started, and then we'll pause a little bit and I'll show you how to wrap up your project so you can kind of see the beginning and the end. So let's go ahead and get that camera switched out. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get started with your project. I'm going to replicate what I did up here. And so my first step is to actually thread my yarn onto my needle. And so you're just going to go through and then leave a bit of a tail. There's no need to tie a knot or anything like that. Actually, it's helpful if you do not tie a knot onto the end of your yarn. So you are going to start by grabbing the opposite tail and lay it onto your rainbow. I'm not going to tie a knot to keep the yarn on there. I'm just going to overlap, and so the tail will be secure underneath my project. So I'm going to just begin by lacing this over and through and around, and we'll just kind of keep doing that and pulling it through. And this is what you're going to be doing, just kind of going side by side. You don't really want to pull it too tight, just kind of a loose loop is nice for the project. It kind of gives it a little fluffier look. I guess you can pull it tight if you like the way that looks a little bit better, but I kind of went with the loose look on the sample that I made. So you're just going to continue to go around and through and keep pulling that extra around. So it's kind of a nice repetitive project. You'll be doing this on each of the layers, starting the same way each time, and just pulling your color through all the way until the end. So that's kind of what we're going to do. And so it starts to kind of take shape. So it looks a little bit like that. And you'll just go all the way around. And so I am going to pause our video for just a second and kind of finish this up, and I'll show you what we do when we get to the end of the arch. Okay, as you can see, I'm getting close to the end of the project, this first arch, and so I'm going to pull my string through till I get down to the bottom. I'm going to do one more loop through, and then instead of tying a knot at the end, I'm actually going to take my needle and I'm going to slide it between the yarn and the Glowforge wood material. And so I'm going to take this and slide it up a ways, kind of poke it out towards the top, and I'm going to push it through and pull it, and just keep pulling till the tail of your yarn comes through and it slides right off your needle. Oops, got held up just a little bit there. So slide it up, and then I am going to trim this tail close to the rest of my project, and that will keep your yarn nice and fixed onto that without tying a knot. You certainly can tie a knot if you wish, that's up to you, but this is just a little smoother look to it, so it's whatever you like the looks of. So the next part, we're going to work on the little clouds, and so you have a long string of this kind of fluffy white yarn, and what I did is I cut the yarn into strips about this length, and so this length, to give you an idea, is a little bit wider than the bottom of my rainbow. To give you an idea, they could be longer or shorter than that. Shorter gets a little difficult. If you don't like the length on here, you can always trim with your scissors, but to actually attach the yarn, it's easier if it's this length or a little bit longer. So there would be two ways that you can go ahead and do this. You're going to go ahead and put this through. You can either just tie a knot like this, but then you can see it kind of sticks out sideways. So the way that I did this one is to make a loop, push it through like this, and then tuck the tails through the loop and pull. And it secures it on there nice, so then it lays flat and you can kind of slide it over. So I'll do that one more time. Fold it in half, so there's a loop, open it up, push the tails through the loop, and then pull. And that secures what will be your fluffy clouds at the bottom, and just kind of gives it that fluffy look. And again, if you are thinking, oh, I don't like that straight, there's a few different options you can do with this. You can take your scissors and cut it kind of wavy, or you can see how this is kind of fraying out a little bit. I think I'll do it on this one. You can take your little needle and run through. I don't know if you can see that very well how I'm doing this. Maybe if I go this way. You can kind of run through the yarn, and instead of it being curly, It kind of separates the fibers and kind of gives it a really fluffy appearance. So there's that option as well. So just kind of whatever you like the looks of. It's art, so it's kind of whatever makes you happy. So there's just a couple approaches to that. So have fun with this project. Come down sometime and take a look at the Glowforge, or if you're on the internet, go ahead and Google Glowforge or Glowforge projects, or if you're on Pinterest, you can look at Glowforge projects, glowforge.com. Just kind of a neat little tool, so many fun things that you can make with it, both large and small. The library does have the wood and acrylic sheets that we do sell. It is encouraged to use the products we have on hand to cut with, just because they're official Glowforge products, and we know that the cuts will be successful. So getting some wood items from other places in the community may not have a successful cut, but just talk to the Makerspace staff and they can help you out with that. Thanks for crafting with us. Have a great day.